Welcome, my dear students. In today's session, we are going to discuss some of the important questions of chapter number 5, that is cells, and we will also discuss about cell division process in very short. Cell division process is the process by which one parental cell divides into two new cells. You know that there is a continuous process of cell generation or cell formation in our body and cell dying to maintain a constant number of cells in our body at a time. So how these new cells are formed in our body? What is the name of process by which it is formed? So these new cells are formed by the process of cell division. In this diagram, you can see that in the beginning of the diagram, the first diagram is showing one cell. And at the end of the cycle, you can see that there are two cells which are end product of the cycle. So, one parent cell is dividing into two newly formed daughter cells in cell division. Let us explore this more in the form of question. What do you mean by cell division? Write its different types. So, the cell division is the process by which parent cell divides into two or more daughter cells is called cell division. It is the process in which one parent cell divides into two or more type of cells. Why we are saying more? Because there are two processes which are involved in cell division. Cell division takes place by two methods. So the first one is mitosis and the other one is meiosis. Mitosis takes place in vegetative cells which are not related to reproductive cells or germ cells. As you know, I have already told you that there are two types of cells in our body, germ cells and vegetative cells. So mitosis takes place in vegetative cells where one parent cell divides into two cells only. Whereas in case of meiosis, one parent cell give rise to four daughter cells or new cells by two repetitive divisions. And this meiosis takes place in germ cells or reproductive cells. In this next slide, the answer of this question will be more clear to you that what is mitosis and what is meiosis. You will be studying this in detail in class 10th. So for now, that much of information is enough for you to understand what is meiosis and mitosis. So mitosis is the process in which cells used to make exact replicas of themselves. Mitosis is observed in almost all the body's cells, including eyes, skin, hair, and muscle cells. Whereas in case of meiosis, this type of cell division takes place in germ cells. Germ cells are of two types. It can be either sperm or egg cells. And in this, the cells which are newly formed by the division are identical daughter cells. There is another kind of cell division which takes place in living organisms, that is binary fission. But it takes place in comparatively very lower level organisms. So these lower level organisms are single celled organisms like bacteria. They divide by binary fission. Single celled organisms like bacteria replicate themselves for reproduction by the process of binary fission. So there are three types of cell division which we have explained here. Now we will practice some of the important questions. So the first question selected here is, what is plasmolysis? When a living cell or living plant cell loses water through osmosis, there is shrinkage or contraction of its content, and the cell content moves away from the cell through cell wall. This phenomenon is known as plasmolysis. Next question is, what are chromosomes made up of? So chromosomes are made up of DNA and protein. The full form of DNA is deoxyribose nucleic acid. And the protein which is present in it is histone protein. Next question is, what is endocytosis? So the answer to this question is, the flexibility of the cell membrane enables the cell to engulf the food particles into it and other material from its external environment. Such process is known as endocytosis. As the cell membrane is highly flexible, so it can easily engulf the outer material or outer food particle or any other material which it want to take into the cell. It engulf it by the process of endocytosis. Next question is, name the site organelle where proteins are synthesized in a cell. Site of protein synthesis. This question is very important because ribosomes are the site of protein synthesis. Now the next question is, name the cell organelle responsible for intracellular transport. Intracellular transport means transport of various material within the cell, between the various organelles of the cell. So it is endoplasmic reticulum which help in intracellular transport. Next question is, why do eggshells dissolve in dilute hydrochloric acid? Answer to this question is, eggshells are made of calcium carbonate which reacts with HCl, hydrochloric acid, and it forms soluble calcium chloride when it reacts with hydrochloric acid. Next question is, name the process through which amoeba acquires its food from external environment. So same type of question again repeated here, but the language is changed here. It is endocytosis, by which amoeba engulfs the food particle from outer environment. Next question is, identify the cell organelle which is known as the powerhouse of the cell. So it is mitochondria. It is the major seat of production of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, which is used as source of energy for various cell functions. ATP is also known as energy currency in the body. Moving on to the next question. List any three functions performed by endoplasmic reticulum. So the main three functions performed by endoplasmic reticulum are biosynthesis, support, and transport. Endoplasmic reticulum is engaged in synthesis of lipids by smooth endoplasmic reticulum and synthesis of protein also through rough endoplasmic reticulum. So its main function is biosynthesis of lipids and protein molecules within the cell. Then the second important function is support. It provides support to the cytoplasm. Then the last function which is mentioned here is transport. It provides support to cytoplasm and it also helps in intracellular transport as well as intercellular transport of various substances. Now the next question is, what happens if? The first condition is almonds are soaked in water. Second part of the question says concentrated solution of fertilizer is applied to green grass lawn. Give suitable reasons in support of your answer. So the answer of this question is almonds will swell up due to endoosmosis. There is higher concentration of water around the almonds than inside. So water will come into the almond. You must have observed this practice in your kitchen also. Your mother will tell you about this if you will ask her, that if the almonds or any other dry fruit is soaked into water, then what happens with that dry fruit? Next day, if you will watch the dry fruit, you will see that it is swollen. So why it is swollen? Because it takes in water from the outer surrounding. Now moving on to the next part of this question. Grass will shrivel due to exoosmosis. There is higher concentration of water inside grass plant than in outer concentrated fertilizer solution. Now the next question is, identify single-celled organisms from the following. The options given here are cockroach, Chlamydomonas, snake, mosquito and bacteria. So the single cell organism here are Chlamydomonas and bacteria. Now the next question is, name two cell organelles having membrane envelope around them. So these are mitochondria. It has double membrane covering around it, and you can give another example of organelle, that is lysosome, which is having a single membrane around it. Like this way you can get more different type of questions, like write the name of cell organelles which have double layer around them. So there are so many organelles which have double layers. Similarly, the question can be framed in the way like write the examples of organelles which have only single layer around them. So you have again options there to write